All right, we're going to dive into one of the most watched, most debated investment portfolios on the planet. It's a story packed with just staggering returns, a really aggressive strategy, and of course, a huge debate that's raging in Washington. So what's the real story here? Is this incredible performance just brilliant skill, a crazy run of luck, or an unbeatable advantage? I mean, think about the greats, right? Investors like Warren Buffett, who built entire empires on slow, steady, disciplined strategy. The market is notoriously tough to beat year after year. So is it even possible for one portfolio to not just do better than the legends, but to completely leave them in the dust? Okay, just look at this chart. That line way up top, that's the Pelosi family portfolio. For more than a decade, it didn't just edge out the S&P 500 or Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway, it absolutely dwarfed them. It's not just a win, it's a blowout. And the sheer scale of it just begs for a closer look. So how on earth did this happen? That's exactly what we're here to break down. We're going to get into the numbers, the unique strategy, and yeah, the controversy. All right, first things first, let's just talk about the performance. Because these numbers, they're honestly staggering. This is the kind of track record that most professional fund managers can only dream about. Let this one number sink in for a second. From 2012 to 2024, the cumulative return for this portfolio was 950%. Yeah, 950. That is not a typo. And this chart really puts that into perspective. Look, the S&P 500 delivered a fantastic 439% return. Berkshire Hathaway was right there with it at 445%. But the Pelosi portfolio? It more than doubled both of them, beating them by over 500 percentage points. Just incredible. And just to put that into professional terms, the portfolio's 5-year annualized return is about 22.8%. You know where that puts you? In the top 3% of professional hedge funds. That's not just good, that is elite, world-class performance. So, the big question is, how? How did they pull this off? Well, this isn't your grandma's buy and hold strategy, that's for sure. The portfolio's wild success is built on a really sophisticated and, frankly, aggressive strategy that makes it totally unique. So, a key weapon in their arsenal is something called a deep in-the-money call option. Now, instead of buying shares of a stock outright, this strategy lets you control a whole bunch of shares for just a fraction of the price. Think of it like this. Instead of buying a house with cash, you put down a small deposit to control the whole property. It maximizes your leverage, which can seriously amplify your returns, while your maximum risk is just that initial cost of the option. And this approach is a completely different universe from, say, Warren Buffett's playbook. While Buffett is famous for buying great companies to hold forever, this strategy, which is run by venture capitalist Paul Pelosi, uses options and leverage to make shorter-term tactical moves. The focus is all on high-growth tech, not safe defensive companies. It's fast, it's aggressive, and it's super specialized. And when I say they bet on tech, I mean they went all in. This chart shows that a whopping 45% of the entire portfolio is sunk into the information technology sector. This isn't about spreading your bets around to stay safe. This is about putting a massive pile of chips on one part of the board you feel really good about. And boy, did that bet pay off. The portfolio's biggest engines have been the absolute titans of our economy. Nvidia, just brining that insane AI wave, Palo Alto Networks in the crucial cybersecurity space, and of course Alphabet and Amazon, who are just dominating cloud and AI. Okay, but this is where the story takes a turn and gets a lot more complicated. Because these incredible returns, especially in sectors that are so politically charged, have brought some intense scrutiny. And that brings us to the timing of the trades, and how weirdly close they are to some major pieces of legislation. Let's look at the Nvidia trade. It's a perfect example. In June of 2022, Paul Pelosi makes a huge purchase of Nvidia call options. Okay, just 1 month later, what happens? Congress is debating and then passes the CHIPS Act, a bill that pumps billions of dollars in subsidies right into the semiconductor industry, an industry where Nvidia is king. You can see why that timing raised a lot of eyebrows. So technically, all of this is legal. The trades are disclosed under a 2012 law called the Stock Act, which was supposed to stop members of Congress from using inside info to get rich. But as a lot of watchdog groups have pointed out, the law has been criticized because, well, it doesn't do much to stop the appearance of a conflict of interest. And that really gets to the core of this whole debate. On one side, you have the argument that everything is legally compliant, it's all disclosed, and Nancy Pelosi has said over and over that she has no involvement in the trades. But on the other side, you have critics saying, come on, the timing just looks bad. It raises really serious questions when lawmakers are making huge profits from the very industries they're in charge of regulating. So you've got these incredible returns, you've got all this controversy. And what does that create? Something the market is now calling the Pelosi Effect. You literally have an army of everyday investors who follow these public disclosures like a hawk. There are entire websites and apps like Capital Trades and Pelosi Tracker that exist just so people can monitor these trades in almost real time and try to copy the moves for themselves. It's gotten so big that Wall Street has, of course, turned it into a product. You can now buy ETFs, that's exchange-traded funds, that try to copy the trades made by members of Congress. Get this, the NANC ETF, which tracks trades from Democrats, has over $260 million in it. People are putting real money behind this idea. And really, all of this funnels into a much, much bigger debate that's happening right now in this country. This one portfolio has basically become Exhibit A and the argument over whether members of Congress should even be allowed to trade individual stocks at all. Because of stories like this, you're now seeing lawmakers from both parties pushing to ban members of Congress from trading stocks. And in a wild twist, one of the bills, introduced by a Republican, was literally nicknamed the Pelosi Act. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about how central this portfolio has become to the whole discussion. Okay, so let's wrap this up. What have we seen? We've got a portfolio with absolutely exceptional market-crushing returns. It's powered by a complex option strategy and a huge winning bet on tech. But at the same time, while these trades are all perfectly legal, they are surrounded by a cloud of serious ethical questions. And they've sparked a whole market phenomenon of copycat investing.
And that leaves us with the one big question you have to ask yourself. The numbers show undeniable, brilliant investment skill. The timeline shows a messy intersection of markets and political power. So when you see those two things, political power and massive financial profit intersect like this, where do you draw the line between exceptional skill and an unbeatable unfair advantage? That's the real question here.